Hey, good evening, everybody. This is David Hood with TigerNet.com. Just wanted to kind of drop this video, talk to you a little bit about the ACC. Will Clemson be leaving the ACC? No, I don't think that there's any news about to break. I don't think that anything is going to come down this week, but it's worth talking about, maybe not writing a story because I don't think you can sometimes get the nuance across in a story that you can maybe in a setting like this. And yes, I have the ACC as a background here. And I was thinking earlier, if you go into my closet, you'll find all kinds of ACC shirts. We picked them up at, ACC football kickoffs, basketball tip-offs, ACC championship games, which Clemson has been to a lot of. We get them as gifts. And, sometimes you pick them up at other places. We have ACC laptop bags. I mean, there's a lot. The ACC has been a big part of my life since 2008 when I started covering Clemson full time. And so, the thought of Clemson leaving the ACC and heading elsewhere, it's kind of an uncomfortable thought in a lot of ways. And it's a kind of a comfortable thought when you think about the money that is out there if they were to perhaps leave the ACC. So why do this video right now if there's no news that's breaking? Okay, so there's a couple of reasons. Number one, there's a lot of chatter out there right now. There's a guy by the name of Greg Swaim, who's on Twitter, who has been right about a lot of this expansion stuff. And he's saying that stuff's going to come down the pipe now. So when he really started tweeting this at the end of, probably January, getting into February, I started texting a lot of people and there were some legs to some stuff, maybe not some legs to other stuff, but now it really appears that there's a lot to this. And I'll tell you where it starts. It starts with the Pac-12 and the Big 12. A lot of people out there in the sports media industry kind of feel like the Pac-12 is a dead conference walking. That's the way that they feel. The Big 12 is trying to stay relevant. They lose Texas. They lose Oklahoma. Now they're trying to pick up members of the Pac-12. It's been rumored that Utah, what they call the corner states, Colorado would make a return to the Big 12, Arizona State, and Utah. Maybe Utah has not been so receptive to that. So maybe you're going to get Colorado and Arizona. Who knows? But right now, the Pac-12 is fighting for its life. They are trying to renegotiate a media rights deal. They were really hoping to have that done by mid-March. It's mid-April. That's not done, probably not close to being done. And, they were talking about maybe the CW airing some of their games. The CW, Gossip Girl, I mean, that's what it's known for. And a lot of people think that the Pac-12 just isn't doing well right now, that they are going to lose teams. Teams are going to be poached. And so what does that do for, a couple of the other premier programs in that league? Well, some have heard that Stanford would love to go to the Big Ten. They hear that Oregon and Washington are waiting to go to the Big Ten. They are just waiting for an invite. So I think that some of those dominoes will fall. They will fall at some point. Who knows? Maybe by the end of the summer, maybe sooner than that. But I think stuff's going to happen. Colorado head coach Deion Sanders even said, I think a few days ago, that the Pac-12 just isn't capable of what he calls retaining players, meaning a lot of these schools just don't have the athletic money to go out there and do NIL deals for players and for what it takes to keep a college football player at this level in this day and time. So, we're watching that kind of closely. So how does that involve Clemson? Well, Florida State's athletic director came out probably a little over a month ago and said, hey, this isn't sustainable for us, not for Clemson, not for some of the other brand programs within the conference. We are looking to do everything that we can. And from what I understand, one of the sources, sources that's been through all of this is somebody embedded at Florida State that's maybe an associate AD down there. I don't know, but somebody that says, hey, I'm going to leak this information because we feel like it helps our cause. So, what is the deal? Well, of course, it's all about media rights deals and money. And, if you're making 30 something million in the ACC, but you could get somewhere between 80 and 100 million from the SEC or the Big Ten, well, that's a big difference. And when you're talking about trying to compete against those schools who are making that much more than you, well, then it would behoove you to leave or to try and look at leaving. And of course, the big elephant in the room was that ACC Grant of Rights deal that they signed through 2036 or 37 or whatever it is, where it would cost them whatever money they make media rights wise, games televised wise through that time would belong to the ACC, not to the school, not to their new conference. There's also an exit fee that would be pretty big. And this appears to be, on the surface, an ironclad agreement. But people out of Florida State are saying, no, we're going to challenge that in court if we have to. I think, people are looking at negotiating, renegotiating, maybe giving Clemson and Florida State a bigger piece of the pie. I talked to somebody down at Florida State probably a week or so ago, and I said that I just don't think that negotiating right now, I don't think that there's a lot that you can do in the ACC to renegotiate the money that is there right now, unless they do something else with a Fox or an ESPN, renegotiate the entire deal. That would be enough to keep a Clemson or a Florida State in. So what have we heard? Well, there's a lot of rumor out there, a lot. And I've heard, and I have really tried to confirm it with some sources that are kind of close to the situation, that there are four ironclad teams that are currently kind of in cahoots together, I guess you could say, in trying to get out of the ACC. And that would be Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and North Carolina. Yes, a blue blood like North Carolina. And when I say blue blood, I mean in the ACC. That's what we think of them as, trying to get out of the ACC. I've also heard that Virginia Tech and NC State are in that group, that there are 6 that are aligned together. And what they're trying to do right now is to get 2 other schools to join them. So why 2 other schools? Well, if 8 decide to leave the ACC, then that means that the ACC Grant of Rights is null and void. And so, I think that Clemson is on the phone with the SEC and the Big Ten probably every week. And that's what they're taking a look at doing. Can we move? Would Clemson go to the SEC? Don't know. Would they go to the Big Ten? I don't know. I think you can take a look at a lot of things that are happening around Clemson, adding a veterinary school, hearing from people on the academic side of things that they're trying to get into the AAU, which would be a prerequisite for joining the Big Ten. Maybe you think Big Ten, as soon as you think that, they'd go and join the SEC. But right now, 6 schools kind of joined together to say, hey, what can we do? How can we get out of that? Hearing rumors that maybe this could be challenged in court. I don't know. I don't think that the ADs at the schools really know what's going to happen at this point. But I made a comment at Clemson's spring game to somebody, and I said, I could be wrong. You probably know a lot more about this than I do, but I just don't think Clemson's going to be playing an ACC football schedule in 3 years. And they said, nope, I would put a lot of money on that happening. That they will not be in the ACC anymore. A lot of people see the ACC kind of the way they see the Pac-12 as a conference that is a little bit of a lame duck right now. And, would that be a shame? Sure, it absolutely would, considering the history that Clemson has in the ACC, ever since they joined the conference back, with the 50s, I guess it was. So Clemson, one of those charter members. And, so what happens next? Well, I think that the ACC meetings are May the 15th through the 17th down at Amelia Island, Georgia. I think I'm going to go down there because I think there's going to be a lot of chatter. I think that there may actually be some things that are going to happen. I have heard that Miami is also a driving force in this, trying to get out of the ACC. I know Florida State is. I think Clemson is probably in there as well. So I think big things are on the horizon. And I told somebody, it was Nikki, my wife, I told her this morning, I said, I think that right now what's happening, we don't know it. We're not in behind the scenes, but I think Clemson's athletic future and really the future of the university will be decided in the next 2 or 3 or 4 months. That's kind of the way that I feel. It could go longer than that, but I feel like that those kinds of deals are in the process of being made. Certainly by the time the college football playoff is expanded, I think that a lot of this stuff will be done. So by the end of the summer, maybe, certainly by the time the college football playoff expands, I think a lot of this is going to get done. And people say, well, the SEC and the Big Ten have made preemptive moves. The Big Ten went out and got Southern Cal, and they went and got UCLA, and the SEC went out and got Texas and Oklahoma. Why wouldn't they just go ahead and do it now? Well, it's that grant of rights deal, because really the attractive teams kind of would be in the ACC right now. And so these these conferences can't act until something happens with that grant of rights, whether it's challenged in court or whether, the schools decide that they could leave. Excuse me. And I'll tell you who if I'm them, I'm scared. Syracuse. I'm scared. Not a football brand. The basketball brand not been as good. Boston College, terrified. Wake Forest, absolutely terrified. Georgia Tech, don't know what's going on. I think there are some schools in the ACC who are saying to themselves tonight, Louisville, hey, we don't want this to happen. We don't want Clemson and Florida State and these guys to leave, because then what happens to us? And I think that would be the next big question. But I told my boss the other day, I said, if this happens, I mean, it's a big if at this point, but if it happens, if Clemson does leave to join the SEC or the Big Ten, it'd be the biggest day in the history of TigerNet. And we kind of laughed about it and said, yeah, bigger than Dabo's tweet that speech. So just kind of a catch up. If you have questions, post it in the comments, and maybe we can do this again, and maybe kind of do it weekly or kind of a bi-weekly wrap up kind of on what we're hearing, what we're seeing. Maybe the best time would be after the ACC meetings, maybe to do another one of these, just to catch up and say, hey, this is what we heard down at Amelia Island. But let me know. Again, nothing set in stone, but I think there are a lot of moving pieces right now with the Pac-12, with the Big 12, Big 10, SEC kind of sitting and waiting, and the ACC here behind me. Again, I have a lot of shirts that may become collector's items one day. I just don't know that they're going to be able to pony up the money to keep the Clemson and the Florida State in the conference. And that's kind of what it comes down to. Anyway, leave me, comments, questions, email me, let me know. If you kind of like this setting, you can let me know too. We'll do more of these. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day.